Boom. We are live. Look at that. 8:12, mate. Look at this. Bit of an early one this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've done a few nines. You know what? It's back to 8. That's what we're doing out here. Hope everyone is good. It is minus a trillion here in Montreal, so hope everyone's staying warm and toasty. I am not going anywhere. We have a fantastic one tonight, so I think we should just get right the hell into it, eh? So this is number 43, I think. All right. What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 43 of Beer and Other Shit, the podcast, Quarantine Edition Adjunct Series. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking about Gatineau, Quebec for probably the last year or so, and just really what's been happening out there. And it's fascinating. It's very cool when you get to see, you know, an area kind of blow up. And we have one of the premier breweries in the area joining us tonight. We have Sébastien and JF from À La Dérive. Boys, welcome. There you go. Hey, make some noise. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Good.
Amazing. Great to meet you guys finally, Because I feel like we've talked through, I know, JF, you have passed beers to Paul Andre for me before. In the past, we have a bunch of mutual friends, and Chris from Hops and Bros, who also works for Sankey and Baron, friends of yours. He's the one who introduced me to your beers over the summer. And it's cool, man.
What a good guy.
Yeah, man. Great people. I feel like all the good people know the other good people. It's usually how it goes. So, yeah, it's great to finally connect with you. I've been, since I heard, I swear Chris had been telling me about you guys for a little before I got to try it. Then one day he's like, hey, you need this. And I didn't really have a ton of context. And I remember doing a 1-minute review of one of them. I think it was either Boathouse Boathouse. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know, like, that it was that good. I was like, Jesus, what is happening here? So since then, and everything I've tried since, I've just been insanely impressed, and from the branding and everything. So stoked to finally have you guys on and get the story. But we cannot.
Thanks, man.
That. No worries. We can't do that without some liquids. So what are we starting with? Tell us about this awesomely named beer, boys.
Yes. You want to start, G?
Yeah. So Sergent Poivre is our. It's an elder pepper saison. So basically, it's really what we're into, what we like to do. I don't know if you ever tried one of our first beers we've ever made, and then we enjoyed the most making is lilac flower saison with wildflower. No, it's a lilac saison with honey.
No.
And so it's all part of those. And then we also made a couple beers made with very, very local ingredients like the lilac. We go and pick out ourselves on the side of the river like hippies. And I really enjoyed. I've had some other elder pepper saisons, and I really thought that jived with what we want to make. So that's the first one we're having, because the other ones are either fairly hoppy or very sweet. Okay. So I feel like if we start with this one, it's very effervescent and very easy drinking. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the beer.
I love it. I'd only actually had IPAs, I think, from you guys, or at least hoppy beers. So this is the first sort of non-hoppy beer that I'm trying. Here we go.
Yeah.
Stupid photo time. You know how it goes. Tell us, what is an elder? What did you say, elder pepper? Is that what it was called?
It's like a Nordic pepper, with taste a bit like like pine, or like there's something like from like Nordic forest in the taste. It's really interesting, and this beer is 100% ingredient from Quebec, and this is really important for us. I don't know, I don't think you can see it, but on the bottle it's written Série du terroir.
Okay.
It means like terroir. You say that in English too, I think so.
We use it like we just say the French word, yeah. Like you say the terroir of like a wine region or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So okay, that's super fascinating. So everything, like the malt is from here, the hops, everything is from. Yeah. That's amazing. Was that?
Yeah. So all the malts we get from Malt. They're based in Sherbrooke.
Okay.
And it's grown throughout Quebec, but and it's a very simple malt bill just because it's a saison. I mean the yeast, we prop it up in the house. And then the other ingredients is, we use hops that we use from like there's very minimal amounts of hops in it, but we get it from Lupulin Hop Yard, which is I'd say 2 hours north of Gatineau.
I've heard of that.
And yeah, the alder pepper we just buy from individual commercial foragers that we just find on the internet.
Right, which is the easiest way to do it. Okay, as opposed to picking the peppers yourself, like the lilac flowers.
Well, I think like an alder is like it's not really a tree, it's more of a shrub, and it grows. I think it grows more north than here, like especially like Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean and the north coast.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think it's the most abundant. I've never seen any, or not enough actually to make a full batch of it, make a full 15 hectoliter batch of it. So yeah, we just source from independent commercial foragers.
Right, that's probably a good way to do it. I've never actually heard that term, like commercial foragers. I guess that's kind of like.
I think I just made it up. Doesn't it sound great though?
It does. Sounds great. Could almost be the episode name.
Yeah, exactly.
So this has a really nice the malt profile. I feel like with saisons, I'm more you're sort of getting more of that phenolic vibe, but I feel like this has got a really strong malt profile as far as like maybe more akin to a like a pilsner or something, like super light but very bready. Am I accurate there? Or am I?
It is very bready. The way we ferment it, we don't want to promote too much of a phenolic taste, like or bubblegum or clove. Like we don't promote those esters or those phenolics. So we ferment it a bit cooler to get that. And then the alder pepper kind of has a bit of a earthy, piney, lemony side to it. And then there's this, I wouldn't say it's spicy, but it characterizes as spicy for a saison, if you would. Mm-hmm. And we carb it up very high just because we feel like me and Sébastien, we've been to Belgium, I don't know, 2-3 times. And like when you drink a saison, well, typically when they're made over there, they're bottle conditioned and they're more effervescent. So that's what we did with that beer. We packaged it still and then it bottle conditioned. And then we waited, I think, a month before we released it.
I like that. That's great. Yeah, it's got a really noting that down as well. So note that it's really got a really great. The carbonation is fantastic, and I didn't know that. One of the things I always never really liked a lot about saisons is that bubble gum and that cloves. And I was wondering I was curious about to ask why this one doesn't have that, but you just explained it's the different temperatures. So that's great. Yeah, man, super subtle.
Yeah, there's like Yeah, I feel like Belgian yeast, they're so expressive. You really need to tinker around with them. I think we've made it in the past just for the pub, and it was a bit more on the phenolic side. So when we remade it for bottles, we just decided to tone that side of it down. But yeah, I feel like they're very, very sensitive to whatever variations you give them, and they'll just be more expressive. But it depends if you want it or not. I'm like you. I don't really enjoy when it's so muddled, like it's so bubblegummy or clovey that it's muddled and you can't really get the maltiness or whatever out of it. So yeah, we're really happy with that version of it. We're not, honestly, if we were going to make it again, I think I'd add more alder pepper, just make it a bit more aromatic, but we're really, really happy with that.
I can see why. Yeah, it's a really good beer, guys. Like, yeah, this is not my jam typically. And it's sort of rare that I find one that I really like, and this is definitely hitting those spots because I didn't know that you could take those flavors out. Like that was voluntary. I thought it was just part of the deal. Like you had to have all this bubble gum and stuff. So that's great.
Yeah, well, I feel like when you have them like saisons like made by North American brewers, that's typically what will tend to happen. But I mean, at the same time, I'm talking like an expert, but like. We're continuously working on it. Like even like for this batch, what we did for the pub, if we ever get to reopen, we even keg conditioned the beer. So basically, we put it in the keg still, and it re-fermented in the keg, try to get that vibe, same as you would get in the bottle. So it's not artificially carved. So can't wait to open back up and pull open a tap to see if it worked or not.
That's amazing. That's so smart. Yeah. I never even heard of that. I love it. So let's get into the history. I always forget that. I don't know why. I always don't even associate breweries with a tap room anymore because it's been so damn long. Tell us about,
exactly.
Right, it's crazy. Tell us about both of your beer histories, and then we'll get into how the brewery came about.
Yes, for sure.
Go for it.
maybe maybe I can start. But we both started like when we were close to 18. There's a pretty good bar in the Outaouais. It's called L'Autreuil. They have like more than 500 type of beer back in the days, and it was something different. Like we were going there and enjoying different type of beer from around the world. I think it started there actually, and after that we went to Belgium for beer 3 times. Not not
Like professionally.
yeah, not professionally,
Right.
just to have fun and drinking beers.
Right.
Yeah, we don't really get drunk professionally.
I
Sometimes
mean, technically.
it can happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And after that, I did my studies actually in fine art. I did my bachelor and my master's in fine art in Montreal. And I was working in a microbrewery there. It's called BrewHeads.
Nice.
Pretty good one. And they have like 2 succursales. They have 2
locations. You mean the
Locations.
the bar, right? You mean the one in Ahuntsic and the one in Rosemont?
Yeah, that's right. The
Yeah.
pretty nice place. I loved it.
You
They are
did you work with Dan?
yeah. I
Yeah.
work with Dan.
He
Yeah,
was
for
like
sure.
the first person I ever met in Quebec beer. He's such a legend. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's a funny one. He's a funny one.
He cracks me up. Okay, cool. Right. So you were like managing it there or bartending?
No, I was I learned from the bottle actually, from the bottle, maybe the bottle too.
But,
Yeah, and yeah, and I start like I was how you say that, like I was serving beer on tap first, like at the bar,
bartender.
and after that, yeah, bartender kind of, and after that I became a waiter at when they opened the other one in Onsic. And when I was doing my bachelor, me and Jean-François, we were working on a farmhouse, a farm brewery actually, back in Outaouais. But this project didn't went to life, so I just moved on with my art studies, and then at the end of my my masters, there were another plan, and this is where like À La Dérive began, approximately.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah, basically, so I actually got a job as a brewer, I'd say 7 or 8 years ago, and then kind of figured out I was missing out on some things. So I went to study at Niagara College, and I did my studies there. Went back to the same brewery for 5 years, and then after that, I started. We started at À La Dérive. I was actually working. You know Max from Hops and Bros.
I do very well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I worked with him at Castle Brewery for a couple of years.
Okay. So
That's how I met Chris. So I know Max more than I've known Max for a longer time than Chris, but now I see Chris way more often because I think Max actually went to Niagara College, but he's still there.
Yeah, he stayed in St. Catharines. He was working at Bench. I'm not sure if he's still there. No.
Yeah, he's still at Bench.
And didn't he go to Long Slice? I thought he went to Long Slice in Toronto.
Yeah, and then he went back to Bench as a brewer.
Okay, because I can imagine that that trek from St. Catharines to like the west end of Toronto would be a nightmare. No, it was the east end actually, distillery. Yeah, that'd be a killer. Okay. Yeah. All right, that makes more sense. Okay, so you guys have known him for a while. Beautiful. And now, like, obviously, you guys have got this, Chris is at 5 so neighbors, which on the same street as that L'Autreuil bar, which I've never been to yet, but I drove past it when I went there. So when did À La Dérive begin? Like, what year did the brewery open? Was it last year or the year before?
Our opening day is December 9th of 2019, so that would have been, I could say last year, I guess, still. So a little over a year, but before that, basically, we wanted to open September of that year, but then we got delayed for a construction permit, blah, 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 et cetera, and the zoning wasn't right to incorporate a brewery where we wanted to be. So basically, we turned around and then we contacted Sammy, the owner at Gandy, also in Elmer. And basically what we did is we got a 2-year contract with them. So we put in 2 10 barrel tanks in his brewery, and then I started brewing there. So we're kind of like contract brewing, but I was doing all the work.
Okay.
And then for the first summer, what we did is we would keg beer, because we got 2 tanks and like 100 kegs, and then we just keg beer and then sell it to restaurants in Gatineau.
Okay.
For an entire summer, just to keep us going until we got our construction permit. Then we got a construction permit to 2 or 3 months to do like just pretty much like decoration and finishing and putting in a walk-in cooler and the kitchen. I guess it is a construction after all, but yeah, that's a lot of little touch-ups.
Yeah.
And then we opened up on December 9th. Yeah.
Okay, and so there was, all right, so I was about to say, yeah, because I was thinking you were talking about last year, which would have made sense. So yeah, having all the kegs in 2019. Okay, so at least you got a full summer of being able to distribute the beer. Because I knew there was some sort of a tie-in with Gallicus, but I didn't know. I met Sammy once briefly. He was super cool as well. Okay, so you've moved everything now back to your establishment now?
Not yet. So basically what we did, it's a long story, man. We might finish that first beer before we get to the second, but we have like a weird we have like a weird parcours. I don't know how to say that word in English. A weird
start.
Yeah, pretty fucking weird start for sure. Basically what we did is after when we opened in December, we only had 2 tanks, so we kind of stopped distributing in kegs to those restaurants, and they understood. They're all our friends, and so we started only supplying our pub. But obviously, when you open in December 2019, you basically just hope like you run for like 4 months before you're closed down by a pandemic.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like we didn't know what to do, so that's when we kind of lucked out on that, because in the meantime, everything was getting sorted out by the city to get the proper zoning and et cetera, et cetera. But because we were brewing at Gentis and he has like it's an industrial, like a commercial brewing permit, he is able to distribute. So he was kind enough to let us can our beers and sell it to a couple shops in Gatineau, and we could be open at our restaurant just for takeout sales. So we'd sell food and cans to go. That got us going. Like that kept us alive until we reopened. And then I would say like when I don't know if you remember last summer, but it was like almost no COVID anymore. So it was like you can be outside, but it's all right in the summertime.
Yeah.
So the pub started running like very strong, because our location is actually very, very, it's pretty sweet. And so we kind of figured it out. And then the zoning got fine. We were able to actually brew on premise.
Okay.
But then we kind of realized that we can't put our eggs all in one basket, like focus only on tap, because if we ever get closed down again for whatever reason, because I mean, we are like technically we're in a flood zone where our pub is.
Right.
So it was like a very high risk thing. So we decided, you know what, let's just take a bit more time, and we're still trying to find it. Like to this day, we're trying to find a spot to put in like a bigger size system and get a permit where we can actually distribute, and then we're still going to continue feeding our pub. Again, so that's where we're at right now. So we're still brewing out of Gentis. We got a 3rd tank in. That one's like 15 barrels. So now we have 2 10s and 1 15. And because we've been closed since October, basically we've been producing as much as we can and just canning everything and selling it. So that's what we're sitting at right now. We're working really hard on getting we're looking for a commercial spot in Gatineau. It's a bit tricky, and yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Okay. So you're only able to make the canned and I imagine like the bottled products at Gallicus. Like you guys can't do that on premise because of the zoning and the permit?
Well, now the zoning's cool and everything, but like as I mentioned, because we're in a flood zone, like we're not very comfortable like taking such a big risk and being closed or whatever, or closed for another reason. Plus, like we'd be brewing in such a small space that we couldn't get because like at Gallicus and at a bunch of breweries in Quebec, they get it's called mobile canning. So they get a truck comes in with a canning line, they can, and then they leave at the end of the day. We wouldn't be able to do that at our current location. So it doesn't even make sense to brew there. Yeah. The system we wanted like on premise would be too small to actually be viable if we ever get closed down for another reason. So that's why we're actively looking for a space that can allow us to have a bigger brewing system so it means a bigger spot, and obviously like proper loading docks and et cetera, et cetera. That's what we're looking at right now.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess you guys could treat the pub as the place where you make the smaller batch stuff just for tap type of thing, like for a reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't like I mean, that would make like definitely like our pub is where like I don't know, like still I don't know if you can remember 2 or 3 years ago, but you'd go to a pub to get entertained, right? And we have a permit for live entertainment. We have a bunch of ideas. We actually started doing like a poetry night, like right before we got closed down and stuff like that. Plus, with our big terrace patio, in the front, we would be able to do a bunch of events. We have lawn bowling. In our backyard, we have a lawn bowling. I don't know, it's a court. How would you say that?
I know what you're talking about. Actual lawn bowls, like old people lawn bowls.
Yeah.
It's called a pétanque. I don't know what it is in English. I think it's lawn bowling.
Is that like these little balls? It's kind of like curling, but balls, and you got to roll the ball and get close to the white ball.
It's like curling, but it's like those metal balls, and it's on like a gravel terrain, and then they play that in the south of France, and they just drink
pastis. Yeah, pastis actually.
That's what it's called. Okay, it sounds yeah. I'm trying to think because lawn bowls is something in Australia. It's like where old people specifically like in the white clothes, and it's really slow, and but it's the same concept. I think there's a whole bunch of games like bocce is the Italian.
We don't have a dress code.
No dress code. Okay, no way.
No, but I mean, whatever. So we have like a bunch of ideas. Like we have way more ideas than we have permissions right now, obviously. So obviously when we open back up, that'll be where everything will be happening. Depends on where we set up shop. Like for brewing, like if we're in an industrial part of the town, obviously it won't be as much of a party zone.
Right.
It's like everything's in the air right now. We are closing, like we are talking to a bunch of promoters, but nothing concrete so far. But like time flies by because right now, like since we've been closed, we've just been rushing and reinventing ourselves. Like Sébastien is now like our delivery guy.
Yes, I was just in Montreal the other day.
Stuff like that. Like you just make yourself like reinventing, and you have a new job every day, so it's really hard to move forward in those projects right now. But like we're trying really, really hard.
No, man. Yeah, it's got to be challenging. Real quick, JF, your specific audio is kind of like, I don't know if you can hear it. It's a little staticky. I don't know really how to fix it, but maybe if you just unplug and plug the headphones in or something. I don't know why. I just know that since the headphones fixes the double.
Yeah, I can hear it too.
That might be okay.
Is it good now?
No, same.
No.
Can you guys hear it? You can both hear it? The static.
I hear the problem too, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
sometimes it can happen, just goes away, so I didn't say anything. Sometimes it just disappears. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll fix itself.
What if I go like this, is it better?
Is that unplugged?
But I can't hear you guys now.
Okay.
Is it better now?
Keep talking.
Is it better?
No. It's still doing it. Interesting. I don't know how to fix that. It's kind of weird. I really figure it like it just goes. Like it just sort of disappears. I wonder because I don't even know how to take you out. Oh, I can take you out and put you back on. Let me see what that does.
No, you know what? Maybe
there you go.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, yeah. Even if I take off the screen, I just wanted to see if that did anything.
Maybe it's maybe all those people have shitty Chromebooks like I do. Maybe I could maybe I could try connecting on my girlfriend's laptop.
If you wanted to, we can keep going, and you can just call when I'll add you right back in. It's super easy.
Yeah. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll try that out.
No worries, man. Thank you.
All right, perfect.
So, are you guys on the street? When I went to basically this summer, what you guys were talking about before, when it was safe for a while. That month was the first time we ventured out, and the first place we went was Saint-Guillaume because we wanted to go see Chris. And I'm pretty sure in hindsight, I remember he was like, "Hey, see, if you keep going down the street, that's the water, and that's where À La Dérive is." Is that correct? You're on the same street.
No, actually, they are in Elmer in Gatineau.
Yeah. Oh, so you're
Yeah,
not
it's
in.
pretty.
Okay, so it's not the same thing.
No, they are pretty much at the opposite in the city, but this river that they were showing you is the same river that we're on the side of.
Okay.
It's called Rivière des Outaouais,
Okay.
like Ottawa River, and they like two river merge where we are, like Gatineau River and Outaouais River, and where we are at this spot, you can see the Parliament Hill on the other side, the rich
Okay.
places.
Right. Okay. I think he was. I just remember him telling me about it. So maybe I'm thinking of something else he said down that. Maybe he was saying down that street's the water, and if you keep going, then you'll get to you guys. Maybe that's what he said then. But either way,
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
yeah. So do you have like a terrace like on the water, like overlooking the water, or is it on the street side?
It's there's a street, and last summer, like the city decided to close the street for for the COVID, and to try something else for like pedestrian
Nice.
and bicycle.
Cool.
And actually, it was really nice. Like a lot of like people were that they were going to work by car. They were complaining, but for us it was like paradise, because like you have a patio, you don't want like a big motorcycle and cars going in front, and it, it's like it was really interesting and calm. Yeah.
Nice. That's great. I like that you've been able to do that. I guess it kind of like it just sounds like such a sick location. Um, it says guest is in green room. Okay, so add him to the right. There we go. Got you back in.
Puis, qu'est-ce que ça dit,
Is
Jay?
it better now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's
See?
better for sure.
Yes. Look at that. All fixed. Bloody glorious. Okay, that's amazing. So
Crumble.
look, it sounds like like obviously with most breweries, COVID's been pretty rough. I love that you guys have been able to, um, you know, pivot and really go hard on the bottle sales, which is great. So you've been able to like you had to kind of change jobs. So like, what did you do before, Sebastian? Were you not obviously you probably weren't delivering to Montreal and stuff?
Yeah, like you mean like for the beginning of the brewery?
Oh, like yeah, from the beginning of the brewery to the like before
The
COVID, when you've had to kind of
Yeah,
pivot and you've had to be like, well, I guess I'll be the delivery guy. What were you doing? We can take this
yeah,
one.
yeah. At first, I started because we run a pub, and I was the pub manager.
Yeah.
So um, I was the one who were like fixing things, like
Right.
for all the service for the customers, and giving formation for the all the employees, and bringing things together to fix everything, organizing like events, because this is my field. Actually, when I was in university, I was organizing like shows and parties, with a lot of beers actually.
Nice.
Um, so that was my principal activities in the brewery. I was also doing all the Facebook, Instagram, all the communication. So it was a lot at the same time, but with the COVID, all the restaurant part uh, just just went down. So see, there for me, it is pretty bad, but in a way, I've been able to express myself in doing like all the design for the cans and the bottle.
Oh, nice. That's all you.
Yeah, it's they like
Cool.
some of them it's not me, but most of them it's me. It's in At first I'm not like I'm not a designer at all. I'm a sculptor, and I do like a public performance.
Okay.
So for me it's really something different. But I know how to draw, and it is really nice to do that. I feel like I have the chance to do like part of what my field, like something in my field, you know. And I see like every c'est quoi une étiquette, G? Like it's
Label.
every label like it sounds cheesy like a piece of art, but I see all of them like a possibility to show something to the people and to be different of the other beer on the market, you know. So that's my goal in a way.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm also doing all the delivery. It's for me, it's really important to go to meet the people, even if we're in a pandemic time. I go to meet all the customers, all the new clients, to see like who buy our beer and what they like in those type of beer, and do they like the branding and everything. Like I try to go forward to that.
That's great, man. I mean, I guess that's the best possible like thing to do during all this time, right? Like if you're not seeing the people, you know, they need to see you because people are still buying beer a lot. People are buying a lot of beer. Thank you. I had to get the photos, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's got a little hazier. I like that. Yeah, like going to actually meet the folks, I think is super important, particularly now because you know, if you just had like a rep, it's cool, but I think it's even better that they're meeting, you know, the co-founder and you're asking the questions, and that means they're probably more inclined to buy your beer in future. So that's super smart. I really like that. That's great. We should probably talk about the labels, but I'm thinking of time. Should we grab the next one?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
We should.
Would that be the 5.5% one?
I think
Yeah,
so.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you get the À La Dérive in the fridge? There's two in the front. It's the one on the right. Thank you. So did you do this label?
Yeah, I did this label.
Nice.
And like Sgt. Pepper from the Beatles. It's like a kind of a homage to them.
Okay.
And there's every time I do a label, it's always I want something to be funny in it. Like I don't take myself for I don't know how to say that. And
Like
in French we say it too seriously. Like I love ludic. Ludic? Like do you ludic? It's like it's some sort of funny ways to see things, you know.
Okay.
Like this one that we're gonna open. It's called the aerodynamite. It's like it's pretty intense on the design. It's really looking like really rock and roll, but all the colors, they are pastel.
Yeah,
you say pastel?
Pastel. Yeah, pastel.
Yeah,
It's much nicer.
pretty like pretty soft colors. So I found it like really funny to see that, and this is like this is in a way like it's looked like a video game, like Double Dragon. I don't know if you know that game.
I remember that from the 90s. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So we just did like a video on Facebook. Me
I saw
and Benoit.
That was amazing.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, we just bought like a green screen, and we did like a video with me and Benoit, the other guy from À La Dérive, like beating each other's
kicking ass.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
You even did the walking backwards awkward thing as well, the video game.
Yeah.
Great. Good. That was hilarious. So people, please go to À La Dérive's Facebook page to check that video because that was very, very well done. I really appreciated that. This is crazy. Look at that head, mate. That is massive. I love it. So this one is a pale ale with Enigma, Equinox, and Citra. How do you say that in French? Aerodynamite, I guess that's what I would say.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, same thing. Okay. Sometimes I say
it's like Aerosmith and Dynamite at the same time. Pretty intense.
It's like when you're too dumb to say. It's like when you're too dumb to say aerodynamic. So you say in French it makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we wrote the hops like they're Metallica, which is pretty cool.
Yes, I do like that. I was a huge fan of Attractive. Oh yeah, with the points at the end. Yeah, that's totally sick. I love that.
Exactly.
Aerodynamite. Okay, and is this a was this for this is just a the first time you did this beer? Because I've seen the next one we're doing before and I've had that before, but this is a different one.
Yeah.
So this is the
Well,
first.
so I was telling you a bit earlier that we did like our first summer we did beers for just for restaurants in Gatineau, and we made this one. It's just an American pale ale. It's just an American pale ale. It's an American pale ale, and then that was actually like out of all the entire summer we only pumped out beers in Gatineau. We actually brought kegs over to the brewery in Montreal for that one, and people liked it a lot. And then we just didn't really get around to brewing it again. But out of all the hazies, we kind of wanted something dry and bitter, so we went for that.
Okay. I feel like you guys definitely are doing something extremely fantastic with the haze. Like the ones I had, I'm trying to think of the other one. Like the next one we had, I'm pretty sure that was the first one, but I remember, Jesus Christ, like it was just, you guys really nailed the profile and the mouth feel and like just the right amount of hop burn, because I love that. Like you guys definitely, so it was hazy IPAs, that's something that you've been doing from the beginning?
Actually, no, we didn't do a single hazy IPA. So the funny thing is that we did our first hazy IPA, and then we're gonna release it on at the pub on March 17th of last year. But then we got closed. Yeah, exactly. But then we got closed down on March 16th, and obviously it's a hazy IPA. So we're like, are we gonna drain a tank? And then Sammy offered us to can that beer. So basically, like, all right, cool. Well, we don't know how long this is gonna last, so we got one label done. Can we pump out as much as we can? So we made 4 iterations of the Boathouse,
Okay.
which we'll be drinking right after that, and then we hit the market for distribution with cans and stuff like that, and that's when we kind of figured out, okay, well, people are really into hazy IPAs, because before that we're kind of doing just for our pub whatever we wanted to do. So we're kind of felt a bit more of the pressure to make the hazies, but yeah, obviously, like every once in a while, everyone loves their dry and bitter and hoppy beers, because we're gonna make a West Coast IPA pretty soon.
Nice. Balances it all
Yeah.
out. This is great, man. This has got like the aromatics are insane. Like I mean, obviously the hops that you used are like big and a big one, bold, tropical, fruity ones. I feel like it's got a little touch of dankness and some like a mild bitterness. I feel like now I've actually thinking again, there's a little bit of like piney vibes in this. Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel that too.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know if I've seen a lot of like East meets West kind of IPAs and pale ales around. I don't know if I quite. This is definitely more East, but I like this like it makes it unique, and I imagine that's probably the Equinut in there, bringing that kind of almost a spicy vibe to it. That's giving it that little other direction.
No, you're right. It actually is, but it's also the just using Citra when you're not using like a hazy yeast, like whatever Bocanado uses, or I know most breweries in the GTA use Vermont style yeast and stuff like that. Using Citra with just a neutral American ale yeast will bring more of the dankness, the dank side of the grapefruit out of the hop, I find.
Grapefruit.
And yeah, it's like the grapefruit rind.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely Equinot brings a bit of the dankness out of it. But I mean, Equinot is like a small portion of the hopping.
Gotcha.
And then obviously, like Enigma is one of my favorite hops, just because it has those raspberry, gooseberry vibes to it, which I feel like kind of puts everything together, and like in between citrusy and dank, kind of like that middle flavor, which is just refreshing and raspberry and gooseberry like.
Totally. Yeah, man. This is and it's great as well. There's tons of body in it. That had that meringue, that meringue style head that just like looks like a cake and shit. It's super dope because go.
Well, that's the thing too. Sorry, it's just that like just making it like an American pale ale. It's obviously it's a bit more effervescent than the hazy, because hazies are almost not flat, but I mean they're definitely less carb just because they want to enhance body and stuff like that. So obviously we put more carbonation in that ones, and obviously all those bubbles coming out of solution. Um, and then we used a lot of wheat malt, just the head stays on top, right?
Okay, that's the secret.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, man, it's
Yeah,
great.
don't tell anyone.
Shh, nobody. It's okay. Nobody. Tell anyone, all right? Everyone shut up. No, that's
Yeah.
great, man. I really feel like you guys have definitely got something happening here. So this is, like I said, the saison was the first non-IPA I'd had from you guys. Everything else had been at least hop forward type of beers. So it just really felt like, I mean, if that's all they had, that's kind of what I didn't think that's all you did, but I figured that that's the kind of general route because Gatineau were killing it with haze. There's nothing shit coming out of
Yeah.
that place. It's just insane. Maybe we could speak to that then. Like, what the hell is happening out there? Why are there just? It's like one after the other. There's everyone, and all you guys are also cool. You help each other out. There's a real focus on local and working with other local businesses, whether it's coffee roasters for collaborations or little local restaurants or food trucks, and even people like the Low Try, like the beer bar and stuff like that. That I just feel like I keep hearing different things. Oh, our labeler was like Chris was telling me that they didn't have a labeler or something. They borrowed it from Bar Canada, and everyone's just like working together, helping each other out. So like, yeah, can you speak to what's happening and why do you think maybe there's like a renaissance of sorts in the area?
Yeah, for sure. That's really something happening for sure. There's a new sense of a community, I'll say, because there's a new generation of brewery that growing, and I'll say not just brewery, but a new type of entrepreneur. I'll say, um, we're trying to do like business differently, and actually like we have to give that to Bar Canada. They brew like excellent, like wonderful New England IPA. That's their thing, and I think it opened a door for like other breweries in the area to share ideas about that and to go in this field. Um, and Jean-François was working actually with Bas Canada at the beginning. He helped them to do the first batches there and everything. So it's really a community. We help each other, and it always come back. And for the up beer, I know that a lot of a lot of the New Englands that come from Gatineau are really popular. Um, yeah, I don't know. What's your call, Jean-François, on that?
I don't know, honestly, just kind of like Sebastian said, when Buck Canada opened and they really tapped into that, it was actually a bunch of fun because so Buck Canada, they actually bought their brewing system from the guy I was working for before. So I give them a hand set up and do their first couple of brews. And then that's how I met them. Then we started making beer, kind of like how they were their vision of the whole brewing scene in the Gatineau area. And then Dimitri, the brewer at Saint Baron, he was a waiter at L'Autreuil for I don't know, like 10 years. No, maybe not 10 years, but for a long time. So basically, we knew him also. I guess we all opened together, and then yeah, just when they opened up, and like I mean, the guy's kind enough to let us put tanks in his brewery and brew our beer, right? That's kind of actually very, very like that's actually
It's
very
pretty
nice.
cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't know, we're all around the same age, and it's just everything's on the same page. And I don't know, I don't know why the people like the IPAs we're making, but I guess they're coming out pretty good.
Yeah, that's why I think it actually like we say something in the water, but literally it could be the water or something that's happening up there. Like to get, I don't know, I just feel like they're all so fire. Like everyone's obviously it's the I wouldn't even say it's the trend of the moment. I feel like even haze is past, but because it's just ubiquitous, it's everywhere now. Like there's other trends
Yeah.
and stuff, but a hazy IPA is expected. And there's certain places that do it well. Even somewhere I hit like here in Montreal, with there's a bunch of places that do it really well. Some places don't do them at all. But I can't I don't think there's any breweries in the Gatineau general region that don't do it and don't do, and like everyone who does do it, which is everybody, does it like extremely well, and that's not like, I'm not exaggerating. Like everybody does it extremely well. So it's just it could be just a coincidence. Like you said, there's, everyone kind of knows everyone, and it's all. I feel like it's all happened, like it's like bubbling up at the same time, and it's just very cool to watch.
Yeah, it is definitely like the circumstances, like the timing and everything. And honestly, like Book and I know they're not super secretive about what they do, and like we chat around a lot. And same with Cinquième Baron. Like Dimitri's actually a microbiologist, which is
Wow.
actually very fun. I know, like, so last summer, all the sours we did, um, Dimitri actually he propagated from a petri dish all the lacto we needed for us for all of our production
Jesus.
for the whole summer, which actually very very nice, right?
Right.
And and then in return we kind of exchange on everything. So a fun thing about Saint Baron is that every Friday they have it's called Liter Beer Friday. So they have 1 liter steins hung on their wall, and then they just take a cheap ass plastic fold up table and they put a ping pong net in the middle of it, and then we play ping pong on it, and then we'll join whenever we can, and then we just go play ping pong with them, which is awesome because it's really cool to put ping pong on a table that's not made for ping pong
Right.
because it's a plastic folded. It's actually pretty tricky, but once you get the hang of it, and then that's when you just hang out and shoot the shit and actually start talking about whatever you're doing, whatever you did this week. Why did you get hops shoot out of your fucking tank, and why it happened and stuff like that, and how can you prevent it and stuff like that. Yeah, I
That
guess it's
stuff
just a
is,
pretty open community.
yeah, man. Like that stuff is so key, though. I think that's undervalued. Like that sort of like, it's not networking. You're not. It's not a business event. You're just hanging out, and that's when that real
Yeah.
exchange over a few beers, that exchange of ideas, you know, because it's like it's cool because there's like, it's beers is the strangest industry ever. That the more you that are in the same area, the better it is for everybody, which is not like that at all with any other industry that I can think of. Because it
Yeah,
becomes
No, exactly.
it's
it
There's
is true.
a
Yeah.
was it
Yeah,
was it
actually like like the part of um like like in the beer industry, like the part of like microbrewery is so small that we're not, the competition is not like in our field, it's like David with Goliath. It's like we're all working together to make things better, and like the market parts will always be fine. If you're making great beer, you'll always be there. It's like it's there could be like a brew pub in each corner of a town, just replacing old breweries, like with lottery. You say like
oh
that.
yeah, like a lotto, like a lottery. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lottery and stuff, like really old pub where like
Oh,
just
like a in Australia they call it a pokey machine, like a what's it called
yeah,
here?
poker machine, and that's
Yeah, you press the
like
button
something like
and
that.
okay.
Like a old pub where like only men goes and stuff like that. I think the microbrewery, like they bring people together. It's like brew pub. It brings community and it brings culture to like a neighborhood. So I think like we just have to focus to grow all together, than like trying to compete with one another. Like I think that's really what's happening in the Ottawa right now, and it's going pretty well. Maybe I don't know if there were like 20 more microbrewery, but I think it's gonna be fine. Like the good beer would the makers of good beer will always be fine. I think that's my
there's
opinion.
also there's also like a like on the other side beyond like a hazy beers, we all have like our little specialties. I know Buck and I know they're kind of the king of the sweet stouts.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, and then Cinquième Baron, they're like they make they make one hell of a Helles. Like they make really good lagers, which is something that's kind of more than just hazies. Like they make really good lagers. Yenkus will be releasing this year a bunch of beers that they've been aging for, like they can kind of pseudo lambic and stuff like that. They've been aging for a while. They're well on their way. They made
Nice.
a beer with a small pony they're going to release, and it's
Oof,
actually tasting pretty good.
hell yeah.
And then on our side, we're like the other pepper saison we're making. I know that's not the trendy stuff people want, but it's definitely what we want to make. So I feel like hazies, yes, we all make them, but then on we all have like decent sidelines also, right?
Yeah, which is important too, because it's kind of boring if everyone's just good at haze or whatever. It's just more of an observation that it's just there's an influx of fire ass haze from Gatineau, but it's much cooler.
Yeah.
And it's
Fire
almost
ass haze.
it's almost like you say, like most of the breweries there, everyone you mentioned is kind of like not known for that though. It's just known like, oh yeah, like if you have a New England IPA from any of you guys, everyone's like, yeah, please, I'll pay $8 a can, I don't care, let's go. But
Mhm.
you all do something else really well as well, and I think there's no one's known for a specific style or anything. I think that's actually super cool as well. So it's not whilst you do that, it's not. Is it okay? Okay. So Tiff is telling me I gotta turn myself up a little bit. I think I'm not loud enough here in the mix. Yeah, the I think it's cool that everyone does everything else super well. So that's not like, oh, it's the Haze Town. It's like, nah, I just go there. Like San Kiem is that's the only one I've been to in the region, I guess, recently. And like you said, they do everything well. So it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a sour or like the pills, the crispies, or they got some really nice stouts and stuff now. So like everything is great, and I feel like that applies across the board, which is really cool. It's just like it's something that I haven't seen. I've been doing this podcast almost 6 years, and I don't know if I've really seen like a specific region just grow like this in
Well,
a
I don't know,
short time, you know?
because yeah, I've been doing it for 6 years. Like over the past 6 years, like you've seen, like for yourself, like in let's say for a similar region than Gatineau, let's say like Sherbrooke, which is like a similar sized city and stuff like that, right? It kind of like grew. It made more sense over time, like a couple breweries and a couple, but then Gatineau was like one brewery, then 5 years later another brewery, then 5 years later seven more breweries, right? And then people are liking the stuff we're making, but it's like it doesn't make sense over the course of like 2 years. The Gatineau region was like severely like underserved in terms of breweries for many years,
Yes.
and then the ones that opened up in the last the couple of years, like people have been enjoying it, and that's great. And I hope the ones that keep opening up like maintain that, because it would be fun to become like a joint, like a tourist, like a beer destination,
Like
because
a
we
beer
like there are
trail.
like, oh fuck, I mean there's like 20 breweries in Ottawa, right? Like I mean, and it's not that far. We're like I actually, if you're sitting at our like on our patio, you can actually look at the U.S. ambassador's house on the other side of the river, and it's Ottawa. Like we're that close to Ottawa, right?
Right, you
Like
guys are
we're
right
like, yeah, if you want to row to Ottawa, it's like
there.
200 meters. But
Right,
if you take a car, it's 5 minutes. You know,
right.
so we're pretty close.
And I feel like all my friends, like Chris and them, who are in Gatineau, compared to my friends like Nate from Nathan Does Beer, who writes for our blog, he's in Ottawa itself, and I always felt like Chris was mostly going into Ottawa for years to get all the beers, but now it's like almost the other way around. Like all the and there's while there's less breweries, they just sort of like you said, it's sort of like it's so many in such a small amount of time, and that's what I can't think of because you can say even Quebec City, I feel like has blown up in the last few
Mhm.
years as well, but it's been like more like Sherbrooke, like a slower drip. Whereas like it was like one and then forever, then one, then like boom, 17 or whatever, all at once in
Yeah.
Gatineau. So yeah, it's just very cool, and I feel like it's something that's spoken about a lot in the beer circles, and it's quite impressive. And I know it's almost something that we're in Montreal here, we should get everything here. People get a little like funny because we're at the city, and it's sometimes really hard to get all your stuff down here. But it's also fortunate that Montreal's the first destination that Sebastian's kind enough to drive everyone's beer down here, type of thing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. I know Bar Canada do drops every other week, and Saint Kiem do the same thing, and I know Sammy from Gallicus does the same. So it seems like everyone's like focusing on, all right, well, making sure that Montreal folks are getting the beer, and then probably expanding from there. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's just traveling
And
around.
there's a really reason why. There's a lot of reason why. Like Montreal is a really nice beer scene. It has been going on for like the first microbrewery was in Montreal, like Cheval Blanc.
Yep.
Yeah, which is a really really nice place, like one of the best brew pub we have in Quebec. And I feel a really strong connection with Montreal, so I'm really happy to bring like the beer we make there. And also it's like 2 hours away from us,
Yeah,
so
close.
it's and we are thinking like a bit differently and than different other breweries. Our goal is not to like distribute like everywhere in Quebec and maybe like in Ontario or in the States. Our goal is just to brew great beers and like make a living out of it. That's just our goal mainly, and have fun and maybe like grow the fruits that we put in the beers and stuff like that. We really like a simple like way to see beers,
We're
and
very simple
and
people.
we're really simple-minded people.
I don't know if it's really simple. It's not
But
simple
you know
what
what?
you do.
But what's actually great, because honestly, like I told you before, like it is locked down and whatever, it has been locked down forever. But because we only have three tanks and we're pushing out our max that we can, it's still like our volume is so low that we can actually be like, well, we won't go in the grocery store because there won't always be someone uh, referring people like to get beer. So we're fortunate enough to be able to pick spots where they have good employees that know their stuff. Their stuff is kept cold. Like they're very like they take beer seriously, right? So that's great. So and honestly, like in Montreal, there's a bunch of those spots, and we've been like fortunate enough to actually, well, Sebastian has picked them out. Then it's like, well, we can distribute there because you actually have like a knowledgeable employee there all the time, right? Not just saying shit about beer. So that's very important to us too, right? Is that if we're distributing beer somewhere, it'd be nice if it was represented well while we're not there, because obviously we can't be in every
Of course. Yeah.
beer boutique like all the time, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's a really great point. We are super blessed out here with a bunch of different beer stores. I know I picked these up from Virtual. Yeah, it's great around the corner. I know La Canette. I think you guys are in La Canette in Rosemont.
I think no, we're not in La Canette right now. We're in Cheers.
Cheers is great. Yeah.
We're in Veux-tu bière?
Yeah.
Espace Houblon. We are in Boire Grand in Onsic.
Nice.
Décapsuleur.
Decapsuleur is great. Experience Pierre.
I think I think they went to. I'm not sure, but I think they went to us and pick up some beers.
Partie-Bière, Ville d'Anjou.
Yeah, we are in Partie-Bière in Ville d'Anjou.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's hard for us because we're a brew pub, and like right now we're brewing a lot of beer that we put in cans. So we have a lot of different type of products, but like as soon as we gonna open back our pub, we're gonna cut off clients, and for us it's really a struggle because like we don't want, like, clients are really important to us because we exist because of them and they exist because of us, so there's a relationship that's starting. So it's for me it's really hard to like to go for the all the different boutique and stuff, and like say I can give you some beers right now, but maybe in a month or so I'll have to stop. So I have to choose to like between some of the place, and it's really a weird time because when we're gonna have like the microbrewery we're gonna open, everything's gonna be all right. We're gonna like brew enough to serve every nice boutique in Montreal, but right now it's a bit struggling to deal with that, you know.
No, man, that makes sense. Like, you can only do so much with those 3 tanks that you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, would you ever consider, say, if the demand was there, would you find a second place that you could contract brew more from?
Well, so that's the thing, is that when we first got our well, when we first got the news that we couldn't actually brew on premise, like when we wanted to open, and then got delayed and stuff like that, I was actually very happy that Sammy would let us put tanks in, gave me a key to his brewery, and be like, he was like, because he's that kind of guy. He's like, yeah, sure. And that's actually, I found out like that I'm very fortunate because he's 10 minutes away from my house where I live, and I get to brew my own stuff, and then I cellar my own stuff, and then I package my own stuff, and then we distribute our own stuff, and then we actually make our own sales. Like it's like for a contract brewing, that's actually very nice. I'd actually be kind of scared to just send off a recipe and then 3 weeks later get a skid of beer that it's not what I like, right? So it's kind of so yeah, we're kind of paranoid about that for now.
As you should.
But yeah, but yeah, so for now we're really happy with the situation we have, even though it's not like ideal because it's not our own spot, given where we are right now. It's pretty sweet. But I think we're just gonna focus on what we have right now and then get our own place, right? Because if we start getting another place, it just takes more time out of our day. So we have less time to focus on eventually getting our own spot. You know how it is, right? You just get too busy that you never get to it. You never get to what you need to do, right?
It's the classic working in your business and not on your business type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're 100% right.
We have the same
Guys.
thing. Yeah.
Craig.
Oh, it's time.
Oh, it's empty?
Yeah, let's go. I was gonna say it's about every half an hour. I've been like, all right, next one. Boathouse time.
Yeah, Boathouse time.
Yeah, for sure.
Could you have the boathouse? But I might need another glass. You can pick the glass that you think is the most appropriate. Thank you, babe. Yeah. So is this a different variant than, or is it the same beer?
Of number 3?
Oh, it's just called number 3. Okay, my bad. Let me see which one I had before.
We have 4 different type of Boathouse actually.
Yeah.
With it's
yeah.
the same grain bill, but like different type of hops.
Okay, so I had number 4. Was it number 3?
Yeah,
That was number 3. Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm excited. Yeah, this one's insane. Tell us about this Boathouse series. I love series where there's different hot bills for IPAs and they're in that with the same sort of. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. Hell
So
yes.
that's what I was telling you a bit earlier. Is like the first New England IPA we wanted to release at our pub was the day before like we got shut down, right? So we ended up. Is it good?
Yeah, sorry, I'm so trying to figure out the photography side because afterwards when we promote this, we put photos either side and stuff. So
There you go. Awesome.
got to make sure we get the content, boys. Can't be letting you down. Oh, this is full beer. That is a full beer. You have
I know.
Let us down.
Our contract the contract canners we use we make sure that they get them full for sure. But yeah, the series is like I told you, like the first New England IPA we were gonna keg, and then the day before we got shut down by the government, so we canned it. But then we didn't know how long we were gonna be in this, so we made 4 different versions
of it. Nice.
Yeah, that's the third. And then we made 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we made 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and now this is 1, 2, 3 again. We don't know if we're gonna make a 5. But so far we have 4.
Okay. I love that. I like one of my favorite things is when series are like that. As far as it's a variant of the series, but then you come back and keep making them again. Kind of like I guess Bar Canada's Hyper was one of the first I'd seen that did that, where they keep coming around to it, and it's more like, oh, I really like number 3, and it's going to be 6 months before they make it again. Like, oh, I can't wait for 3, and but number 2's out, number 4's out. Like I like that concept because it sort of allows you to be to avoid the burnout that happens with breweries when you have to make it's every Friday I got to drop a new beer and there's all this pressure and ridiculousness, but you get the variety, but also you get to tweak a recipe, so you're working on it over time and it gets to be this not this rushed beer that's barely different to the last beer type of thing, which tends to happen with this stuff.
You know what? You're 100% right on that. But that, like, I feel like that, whatever you're saying, like, appeals to the market of consumers, which is basically us, which is like craft beer consumers, right? Because
Yes,
I
exactly.
remember like my dad is like he likes Buck Canada a lot. He knows the guys a bit, and I remember one time he's like, you know what? I didn't buy number two because there was number seven. I just thought number two was older, like on the shelf.
Oh, that's what
My
that's
dad,
hilarious.
but obviously my dad's not a beer geek, so I thought
So
that was pretty funny.
that's kind of like cute, actually.
So actually, you know what? Like Buck Canada, they're about to expand. Like if they go across province and then they have enough volume to supply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. I guess people get used to it, but I just thought that was a funny thing when my dad told me, like, yeah, I think that beer was old. It was number two, and then there was number seven right next to it,
That's so
even though they were
funny.
even though they were packaged like 5 days apart
But
or whatever.
I feel like that I never thought of that, but that's like something there should be some consumer knowledge about. Like that means that there's some awareness that needs to happen. I mean, craft beer nerds,
Well,
like you said, but you know,
it is, but I mean, yeah, like we're extreme craft beer nerds, like at one point too, right?
yeah, we're a little psycho about all this stuff.
Yeah, my dad's just a guy that likes.
Right? I'm sure he's pretty stoked that is all your family's pretty stoked that you guys are just making Firehouse beer and now they get to
Yeah, they're
drink.
supporting us a lot. None of
Yeah,
them
for
were
sure.
New England IPA drinkers, but they all like it, so that's nice.
Actually, most of our family, they don't know that we brew like I'll say famous beer or known beer, or people like beers that people want to drink in different places in Quebec. That's the part that's really funny. Like they are just proud of us because we have a brewery.
Right. So they don't even really know the value of
Yeah.
what you're doing just yet.
No, just for certain.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. They'll get there as they get nerdier over time. Yo, this is fantastic.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure this was the first one I cracked and I was like, what is happening here? With no extra, it's just really funny when like you get. I'm really a big fan of the like this milkier haze.
Yep.
At this ABV, this is 6.8, so this is around my money zone, like between 6 and 7 is my favorite sort of thing because you can drink a few of them, you don't get too mashed up, they got plenty of flavor. This has the body, like the chalkiness, which I really love. It's got like a touch of hot burn, but it's not over the top because sometimes the hot burn beers are the ones that like
Mm-hmm.
you know what it's like sometimes.
I don't like hot burn, man. I don't like it at all. No, I know some of them that we release have them, but I was telling you, like with 3 tanks, we on a short time frame, we do what we can. But
no, this is money zone, bro. This is fantastic. I feel like it's got like a touch in the back end. I feel like it's like just enough to like
I know there's a bit. There's definitely a bit. Yeah.
This is like the just where it needs to be. Super smooth. What is it? Citra, Simcoe, Azaka. So I mean, like that's a great hop bill as well.
It is a good combo for sure.
Are all the other ones 3 different hops, or how is that?
Yeah, we go by sets of 3 for sure. And I know Sebastian said that they're all the same malt bill. We like ever so slightly vary it in every, but like it's very closely like pretty much the same, but they're a bit different. But the hop bills, yeah, it's always 3 different hops.
3.
Yeah.
What fruits am I getting in this one? This is always needs a bit of. I can pick some. Is there like stone fruit or something happening?
Yeah, it is. The Simcoe is stone fruity in this one for sure. And then I found like the Citra in that one's a bit more on the mango side.
Yeah, I can get
and then the Azaka is more on like the I don't want to say Jolly Rancher side of it, but
like almost like artificial flavor type of thing. You mean?
Yeah, like a sweet candy.
Yeah, I can get that. But there's definitely no bitterness at all. Like it's just straight.
Yeah, well, it's very malty for sure.
Oh man, I love this shit. That's what I'm saying. I haven't drank many IPAs for weeks. It's been a quiet January, which is great. I've been able to kind of like attack the fridge and start to knock it down. And usually that means there's not many IPAs because that's a problem with beer drinkers, as you know. Anyone who gets these in the fridge, these always get the priorities, and that's why we all have cellars because we get other things. And you're like, I'll put it in the cupboard for a bit, and then all of a sudden you've got 150 bottles and you know what you're doing. So it's I haven't had, you get a little bit hazed out sometimes.
Well, you do, man. It's like it's nice to have it, but like when you have it all the time, you kind of get bored, right?
Right.
It's like I love fried chicken. That doesn't mean I'd eat it every day, man.
No, not at all. but I have not had.
Actually, I probably shouldn't.
No, I would absolutely. We just had like ramen and a Japanese fried chicken. Oh shit, I would eat that every day. That's it as well. And
Yeah.
I would having this way too much, and I haven't had anything much this month, and I'm appreciating this in a way I haven't in some time. So it's actually really, really nice. This is great.
Cool, man. Thanks.
I
That's
love it.
appreciated for sure.
No, this is super fire. I knew it was beforehand. So this is. Are you going to expand on this series? Are you going to like move it up? 5, 6, 7, or
So far, we don't know, man. I don't know so far, but we don't know yet. But maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we just signed up a good contract for Strata hops. We need to use that up. So I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Yeah, but then you kind of want to hoard it because it's so rare.
Yeah.
We'll just be releasing a bunch of them at the end of this year.
All with
Strata hop. Yeah. No, but we also got a double IPA in for our first anniversary with Nectaron hops, which is really, really hard to get. But I was happy to get it. I wouldn't say it was.
Was that the Entrevue?
Entretien, yeah.
I had that.
Yeah, you did a 1-minute review on it. Yeah.
I did, goddamn it. Yes, thank you for that one. I think that was from PA. Yes.
Yeah. Well, so that one was actually a citrus strata and nectaron.
Okay, I never heard of that hop. I remember saying that's right. I was like, I heard of this fucking hop. Yeah. Okay.
So me going to school in Niagara College, obviously everyone I went to school with was from Ontario and are working in the GTA, and some of my best friends are still working there. And I was talking to them, and I know you got him on the podcast. The British guy Ben from Nickelbrook.
Oh yeah, Ben Griffiths. He's a champion. Great guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was telling him about that hop, and he found a source in North America. So then we both bought it, and then we both brewed a beer with Necron at the same time, and then we exchanged it.
Nice.
That was kind of the whatever we wanted to, what I wanted to do personally. I wanted to really try that hop out. That was a bunch of fun. If I can ever get my hands on it again, but it would have to be like steady or reliable to make it again, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just make a one-off. We'll just make a one-off out of it, right? But yeah, Nectaron was a bunch of fun. We don't know yet. We don't know like for hop combos and whatever we're gonna make, but it would be fun to probably release a number 5 sometime.
Well, I feel like if you're doing that and you're doing it, I didn't actually realize you guys were doing it in that sort of repeatable fashion, which, like I said, I'm a huge fan of. I think that's cool. At least it gives you the option of doing. You've got 4 beers, none of them. Obviously, it's not boring, and like I've only had 2 of them, so now I'm like extra keen to try 1 and 2. But like at least you guys can go to infinity with that. Speaking of that connection though, have you guys considered one of the things that, like, my girlfriend's from Toronto, I lived there first, my brother's still in Toronto. Prior to the pandemic, we were there once a month. That's why a lot of our podcasts earlier on were focused mostly on Ontario, because language, of course, but that's where my connections were. And then over the last probably 3 years, we've really focused really strongly on Quebec, and which has been a blessing. It's fantastic. I've discovered so much here. But because I have that kind, I'm not from Canada, period, and I'm lived between the two, I've always wanted to see that cross-border collaboration. So being you guys have those contacts in Ontario, have you guys looked at doing any Ontario collaborations, whether it's them coming to you, I mean, even if it's virtually because of the situation, and vice versa?
I think I'd want to wait until we get our own spot, and then probably I fucking hope the pandemic will be over. But I think I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet, but definitely most of my friends are in the GTA, and they work at really fun breweries too. And obviously, I worked in Eastern Ontario for 5 years, so I know more Ottawa and Ontario breweries. And now that I'm brewing Quebec, like outside of my little network of Gatineau brewers, I don't know anyone in the province at all. I don't know anyone in the province at all.
In Quebec?
Well, no, not really, man.
Not really?
Like, not really. Yep. I don't know. Like, and whenever I need help, I'll ask my friend at Indie Ale House in Toronto. Like, I won't ask anyone in Quebec, right? Like when I need help on something not souring or whatever, I'll ask him or them, right? I won't really ask. I don't really know a lot of people in the Quebec scene. That's because I've never really worked in Quebec until we started up at À La Dérive, and we were lucky enough to have a bunch of fun brewers starting up in Gatineau. So been hanging out around with them just because, you know, it's a 10-minute drive. But other than that, like your past contacts, and it's, I mean, the relations, like the way it's going on right now, you can't really make new contacts, right? You're stuck at home.
You're so right. It's really not. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it's sort of like you're plugged in with somebody else, someone connects
Yeah.
you, or you just do.
Well, if you're at a beer festival, you just chat with a brewer from Quebec City or whatever. It's fun. I won't go hassle him on Messenger like, "Hey man,
Hey, what's going
you
on?
want to zoom? You want to zoom tonight? Want to get to know me?"
That sounds kind of creepy. I like it. I like the
It is.
creepiness of that. Yeah, it's kind of weird, man. Like, when you think about it, that's probably the worst part of all of this stuff is that lack of potential, accidental meetings and stuff, which is part of the fun of beer.
Yeah, I think we were really like excited for festival season and stuff like that. We think festivals are fun way to get known, fun way to network and stuff like that. And that didn't happen. Or even like conferences, whether it be the
AMBQ or something.
yeah, exactly, right. Those are always fun, but we didn't even get to go to that.
Yeah, it really sucks. I mean, I'm just trying to think about how it's almost like I see a few friends of mine, like other beer media people who like we just talk to people, so we happen to know a bunch of people.
Mhm.
Like I know Sankiem hit up my friend Noah to get in touch with Third Moon in in Ontario, Milton, Ontario there, and he just connected them like that. Now they're doing a collab because they both got in that top new breweries in the Rapier thing. Because I guess you guys just missed out because you were the year before.
No, you know what? I would have loved to, because I know they posted that. I would have loved to make Photoshop where we put ourselves just above them on the raid beer thing.
You should have done that. Send it to Jacob and be like, "Huh."
There you go, guys. There you go, guys. No, it's great for them, though. It's really good. That's an honorable mention for sure, man. That's really cool for them. But yeah, definitely. I kind of want to Photoshop a picture and then staple it on their brewery.
You should just like leave it there with a dot
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like, but I feel like there's not like a ton of other ways to connect with people. I say, hey,
No,
I've
not
wanted to, it's not weird. That's the funny thing. I guess it's not strange if you admire a brewery and you're like, I want to talk to them. I think we could do something, as long as they're kind of cool and open to it. I feel like most breweries are, but I guess the easiest way is via like a middle person to plug you in and whatever. But yeah, it's the unfortunate side because I really feel like the collaborations are the way to sort of like to grow it. And I was saying to somebody recently that because of the pandemic before, we're really fortunate here in Montreal, and I go, you guys aren't too far away, but I know about you guys, but we would go to Vermont every other month typically, and we'd zip over, we go there for the weekend, we've got friends there, we go to the breweries, blah, 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 and then come back. So I was like traveling a lot before all of this, and always doing that. Now, to get those beers across the border is annoying, expensive. Potentially, you're just going to get it caught at customs, and you're not going to, if you try to do the trade or whatever. Now, though, I think there's more interest in that interprovincial thing because for the folks in Ontario who don't get to leave home, and for the folks here in Quebec, like what's the next most exciting thing is across that border. So not, you guys are like right next to Ottawa, but I'm talking like the Toronto to Montreal-ish, a bit further. So I feel like
no, but even then, like I mean, if you want to get Burdock and Gatineau, you can't go to LCBO, right?
exactly
Still need
there you go.
to have an exchange or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So to trade it or something, or maybe Dominion does that. Friends of Dominion City, and they bring out some stuff. They usually bring out Godspeed. Yes. They just did Rorschach, who are great dudes as well. Like stuff like that. So I feel like there's more interest in stuff from elsewhere, and therefore it's almost no better time than now to get that brand recognition across the border. And one way to do that is via those, even if it has to be virtual, which sucks. Obviously, because you would rather be at each other's breweries and actually doing the work. But I think that's a super cool way to sort of grow those brands in the meantime. But it can't really be inauthentic. It's got to be something that you may have already known them or whatever. Otherwise, it's a little.
Well, I honestly, I just think we're going to wait. Like last summer, we're going to do Funk Fest by Sawdust City in Gravenhurst.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, but that would have been like a great opportunity to
meet them all. Yeah. Do you know Sam?
Exactly.
Do you know Sam and the guys there?
Yeah. When I was like, when I was at a Sawdust, we did. No, when I
Sam
was
a
at
teacher. at the college?
Oh, not when I was there, no.
Right.
Yeah, not when I was at college, but he's we did a home and home collab when I was at Castle, and it was a bunch of fun. We went there and don't remember much.
Of course, they're hectic dudes.
Yeah, it was a really good time, and I know their fun fest is a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're supposed to do that. That didn't happen, but I feel like it's those kind of events that really get you meeting and chatting, right? Because outside of that, I mean, we do have our own networks, but it's really hard to expand when you're a viewer because even in pandemic times, you're just every day you're trying to reinvent yourself to keep your business alive. You don't really have time to go down the yeah, yeah, exactly, or go somewhere else to meet new people, right?
Yeah. It's such an interesting conundrum to deal with in this time. Like it's it's a bit of a shame, but at the same token, I guess it allows you guys to focus on that home market now that the home being
For sure, which is
down
exactly.
here.
By the way, when you use that word, a conundrum, we didn't get it.
No.
No, what was that?
Oh, it's like a weird situation. A conundrum is like
okay.
a problem. Sorry,
that was too hard for us.
That's too anglophone. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, just some sort of like, what do you do here? Like, how do you figure it out, type of shit. But at least though, like if you guys don't even know that many people in Montreal, that means there's just as much value to be collaborating between Gatineau and Montreal.
Well, Sébastien knows a bunch of people, right? Because he worked at BrewHeads for
of course, yeah,
6 or 7 years. Yeah. We already made before we started up, we already made a beer with Ile de Garde.
Oh hell yeah, nice! What'd you do?
And we made
saison with
Argousier.
Argousier is
Sea buckthorn. Brett saison.
Okay, nice. That's great.
So that was kind of fucked up, but it was actually pretty good. And then we're in the talks about making another beer, and I'll leave Sébastien to tell you that because I gotta go pee right now.
Yeah, go.
Yes, I actually for a collaboration, we're really into it. We're thinking about a collaboration in a different ways, like not just between two brewery. Like we did a collaboration with boutique, like a beer store and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we did like a collaboration with a bar, a really nice bar in Gatineau that they have like really nice shows. So we're really trying to bring like the beer community in a cultural possible ways, like to collaboration with breweries, but not just with breweries, to bring like the beer community with like other communities with art and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And as you said, like I think it would be interesting to do more things with like Ontario and like the rest of Canada. I think that's it's not a shame, but like the Quebec scene is like is working on their own, and I think there's like a frontière, like it's like there's
like a border.
Like there's like a border, like the cultural things and like the language and everything. But in a way, I think there's a lot of really interesting brewery in Ontario and now in like in the East Coast, and I think it would be really interesting to do things with all those breweries and to maybe brew collaboration with like breweries that they have the same values as us, like maybe like brew with like local ingredients, stuff like that would be nice. And like collaboration, I think it's like a fun way to exchange idea and try something else,
Definitely.
It brings people together, and like it's a fun time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And it does seem like even Quebec itself is segmented, not even just between Ontario and Quebec. Like maybe the Quebec City scene kind of does their thing, and the Sherbrooke and Magog type of area does their thing, and like out here Montreal does their thing, whatever. So it's like everyone's trying to survive right now, I guess, right? So everyone's just like you guys were saying, like head down working, as opposed to thinking about like, all right, who can I collaborate with? Like, it's not
Yeah, for
even
sure.
as much of a thought. But I was
Yeah.
just
You
even
know what I
thinking,
can't.
go,
You know what I can't wait for is
yeah,
you've been to Chambly, right?
what? I've been to the festival, but yeah, not the area.
Yeah, yeah, to the festival. Yeah, I can't wait for the next one. I can't even imagine how it'll be. Like,
Yeah.
let's say it's like full out open with for no restrictions and everything. I can't even imagine like how the beers will be different, right?
It'll be very different because like I guess there's been lack of contact, so everyone's just doing their thing.
But everything's evolved a bunch.
Oh, one thing I couldn't agree more. I've always been very critical of Quebec. I've lived here for 8 years now, and I always felt that like I was never like I was saying you're not into the saisons. Like Quebec was always known for farmhouse, like really incredible farmhouse, like the big barrel aged stouts, which I do really like, and things like that. But I felt like Quebec was really lacking in haze, in the crispy, like in all the lagers and pilsners, in the trendy stuff like the smoothie sours and things like that. And I always felt like everywhere else was doing it better. And I would say in the last 18 months to 2 years, Quebec is by far the best in Canada, hands down. I'm super proud of what Quebec's been able to
That's
do.
because you can't travel anywhere else.
I to be fair, I did say it at the beginning of last year, right beforehand. But
You're right.
yes, but you are correct. I'm not traveling anymore. Look, nothing's. I would say overall in Canada. I'm talking Canada.
Yeah.
And we went to Ontario for Christmas. We did it COVID safe. My mother-in-law lives alone, so we were allowed to go and visit her. We didn't see any friends. Visited a couple breweries real quick because they closed too, but just because they were friends and just picked up stuff, whatever. But they like Ontario has doing always been. I always thought we were ahead of Quebec, but now like Ontario are not doing smoothie sours, for example, like Quebec were. We started it here. All of a sudden now the haze is world class. Like we've already got the saisons and the barrel aged stuff. There's a bunch of great breweries doing the pastry stouts amazing. Now there's a bunch of breweries doing the lagers and pilsners incredibly well, like insanely well. So I really feel like it's leading Canada, but it happened really quick because I felt like everyone here. I feel like it was like always there was always great stuff here. It just wasn't really to my taste. So I was always just getting beer from everywhere else. And then in the last couple of years, like obviously during the pandemic, well, because I have such strong Ontario contacts, I still have access to a lot of Ontario beer. But just here, no, I'm just really happy. I'm really proud of Quebec. I'm really happy with what everybody's doing, and I think it's just it's like it's come of age, and like you guys were saying, there's a bunch of new breweries in Gatineau, all about your age. Everyone's just doing this shit and just making fire beer. It doesn't really matter. No pretentious nonsense. Just is it good? Cool. Doesn't matter what it is. Nah. Is the saison? Is it crispy? Is it stout? Is it IPA? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be great. And I think that's
No, for
really
sure.
fun.
I mean, I know. I was actually just kidding, but
Totally.
I do remember that when I was in school, I told you Ben from Nickelbrook. He was actually my roommate while we were in school because
No
I went to
way.
school with him.
Yo,
Yeah,
he mentioned you on the podcast. I swear we talked about it.
I mean, I watched that. He didn't
Okay.
even remember the name of my brewery. What a dick!
Wow.
I know he's pathetic.
Wow.
I like him. I like him a lot though. But we lived together, and but at that time he was working I don't know, some cellar like evening shift job at Collective Arts in Hamilton, and he'd just bring home all the low fills,
Right. So
and then we'd be like, wow, like ransack the universe.
That blew my
That's
mind.
where
That yeah.
that's where it's at, right? And exactly. And then when I came back home from school, I was like, everything in Ottawa is like milds and bitters, and then everything in the Quebec side is Belgian stuff like that. And then Book Canada popped up, and I was really happy for Gatineau for that. That
Yes.
really, yeah. And then everything's been moving. I'm definitely gonna say Book Canada changed everything, but I feel like a lot
They
of
were
people
in the
started no, but a lot of people started just finding stuff out an hour south of the border, which is Vermont, and coming back up and asking for brews like, can you make this awesome stuff that foam does and stuff like that? And then that's where it's really popped. Like we're heavily influenced by just the fact that we're an hour north of
100%.
Vermont and stuff like that, right? And not very far from New York State,
Yep.
and there's a lot of sours and sweets stouts coming out of definitely like New York,
Yeah, like
the city,
upstate,
and
Rochester,
yeah,
Rochester, and
yeah, well, yeah,
Buffalo
definitely
now.
yeah, exactly, definitely the what's it called? There's a brewer that makes like
Mortalis,
yeah, no, I wasn't thinking of them. Is
other half, fifth frame.
other half they have their fucking pastries and stout
Oh
like
yeah, they also
festivals.
they have the
It's all
festival,
about
yeah.
sweet.
Pastry Town, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever. I mean, all those styles, like I mean, they kind of migrate up, right? And then
Yeah.
you just catch up on the vibe for sure. But no, like it's moved really, really quick, and it's you have to stay in the game, and that's where we're kind of like mitigated because we see all those stuff evolving like really, really quick, and right now we kind of want to be a part of them. But the next beer we're gonna try, which we should probably get into, like
Yeah,
yeah, we did a pastry stout.
I'm excited.
But we added raspberries from Quebec because it's important for us, right?
Of course, yeah, yeah.
So
Man,
it's local raspberries added to a pastry stout, and we're trying to make the best out of everything. And it's kind of hard trying to break into the like our lilac flower saison. Like I really like it. It's definitely not as hypey and trendy as a New England IPA. So we're kind of working on our business model to maybe go into like a photo aging and mixed fermentation, making our own like our own like yeast and wild yeast culture, and then making our own kind of like brand.
nice.
Mhm.
Probably going to work into that. Feel like that's where we want to go because like in the works right now we want to make a goes with sumac, which would be
Sumac
a
is,
lot of
I've
fun.
heard of that. What's sumac again?
Sumac,
It's the thing you see on the side of the highways all the time. It's like a big shrub that grows, and it has like a red, velvety kind of pom thing growing on top of it.
Okay,
It's
it,
it's it's you can make like a lemonade out of it. It has a lot of like citric acid in it, which is very interesting.
cool.
Uh, yeah, so that's what we're looking at. I know Dominion City made an IPA with it when they made a bunch of beers. Fuck, I can't remember with who.
Kind of sounds familiar, actually.
Yeah.
I've absolutely heard of that stuff. That's amazing. Yeah, let me grab the. I'm gonna go because I need to piss as well. So tell us about the pastry. Just while I'm grab, will be like 30 seconds. But yeah, tell us about the pastry stout and the. Obviously this is great because now this is the biggest snapshot of what you guys do because we went from a saison to a pale ale to now haze and then the pastry stout.
Exactly.
Tell us about this one. What's in it, how it came about, and stuff like that. I'll be back in just a sec.
We want you to listen to that though.
Oh, that's true. Talk about something that is least important.
Exactly. We'll just go dead silent for 30 seconds.
Okay.
We'll count
Just
all
count.
the time.
Just count the whole way. I trust you guys. I trust you.
1,
Yeah.
Two.
Well, hey, t'imagines-tu? Ça serait malade, man. 9, 11. Ouais, quand il revient, on devrait dire 202, 204.
205.
Exactement. Là, t'as-tu compris du jeu, mon gars? Ouais. Puis, l'anglais, t'en sais pas pire?
Non, c'est pas pire.
Ouais.
Ouais, ben là, c'est pas la langue dans laquelle je suis habitué d'être expressif. Absolument, je suis expressif, puis je prends de la place,
Ouais.
puis comme j'y
Ouais,
vais,
clairement.
puis comme je raconte des histoires, mais là, c'est pas mon monde. Mais comme, puis aussi toute l'idée du Zoom, c'est une autre histoire pour moi, dans le fond. Là. C'est comme, tu sais, comme quand c'est à toi de parler ou de quoi de même, puis en anglais, c'est encore plus compliqué. Là.
C'est vrai. Ben, d'où ça fait tellement longtemps que le vendredi soir, j'ai pas bu de la bière avec du monde. Là. Moi, je suis fucking content.
Ah ouais, ben ouais, man, mais tant mieux, esti.
Ouais.
En
Mais
plus,
non, clairement.
on
Des
est en
fois, quand
live
tu
sur
cherches
sa
tes
page.
mots, hein?
On est en live en ce moment sur sa page, en train de parler en français.
Ben, c'est pas grave, ça.
Je suis pas sûr, mais je pense peut-être. Là. En tout cas, s'il y a du monde qui nous écoute en ce moment, on vous dit bonjour, puis on serait bien content de vous avoir notre pub.
Sébastien est meilleur en français qu'en anglais, ça, c'est certain. Oh,
Did you behave yourselves?
103,
Yeah, actually, Craig, I
104, 105. Now, so sorry, we just said
I was thinking like, are we live right now?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, live on
ah,
YouTube.
shit. Yeah, we were talking in French the whole time. Sorry.
That's okay.
yeah, we were speaking in French and like about like how it was like different for me like to explain everything in English, because like normally I'm the kind of guy who's really taking place and like
Loud.
I'm loud and I'm describing a lot of different stuff and stories, and I'm really into it. And right now I'm more like into a listening way of it, you know.
Right.
But it's all right.
I apologize. I know it's like a challenge, and I always appreciate it when as we've been interviewing more and more folks from Quebec. Obviously, English is most people's first language, so I really appreciate it when anybody is like, I can't do what you're doing. I can't speak French like that. Like, my French is pretty damn bad. I'm like drunk in an Uber back when you could do that, at 2 a.m. type of French. Oh, my camera just went out. Let me swap that.
It sounds great.
Yeah, so like that's as good as my French gets. So I always appreciate it, and I know our audience is like super cool. Like, I think people just want to hear about the beers, and everybody loves Quebec. It's all about Quebec right now. So I really feel like it's okay. Don't even sweat it. But yes, I think our friend, when we first moved here, funny story, my girlfriend and I took intensive French at McGill because just to keep me in the country. So I got a student visa, and the teachers always told us that when you speak another language, you actually have another personality just in that language.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you actually like pick that up, and that's basically what you're describing there. Like in your native tongue, you're like, yeah, telling all this stuff, and then in English, maybe you're a little more reserved and a little more chill, because that's just the way it is. I think that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, for sure, it is actually, and I find it all right. I mean, I'm really looking forward to like to hear from other people and other cultural people in the communities, in the beer communities. So it has to be like in different type of language, and I'm looking forward for that, like for sure.
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful.
So are we going in the big one?
I'm not scared, boys.
I
am not
so
afraid.
There's a story there behind this one.
Yes,
actually, a part of À La Dérive, we're really basing all our beers on stories.
Mm-hmm.
We want to tell stories to people, not just to brew beers. You know, we have to bring meanings to some things. So this one is like, it's called Bégon, and Bégon, it's they were like night, not night, but like fishermen that they were fishing at night on the side of the river of Gatineau.
Okay.
So I did this branding. This is a fisherman in his boat, fishing at night. And this one is in a pink, silverish, label, and really interesting type of beer. I really do like this one because it's a sweet stout, but the raspberry in it brings like a balance to this type of beer, because normally a sweet stout, it's just on the sweet side. It's not balanced at all. And in this one, I think the raspberry really does it. Like, it's something else.
So from what I'm reading on the back here as well, I was trying to look at it when I picked it up the other day. So it's got Quebec raspberries, grilled cacao, I guess that's like grilled cacao nibs, and Fleur de Melilot Blanc. What's that about?
It's
this is
a white sweet clover.
Sweet clover.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's white sweet clover is like it's a type of flower. It's called the Villain of the North. honestly, you should see them popping up in beers more frequently in the next year or 2 years or so. So
Okay.
it's actually it has like a more type of like almond paste flavor to it, a bit more.
Mm.
There's a bit of a hay character to it if you overdose it, but it
Okay.
can be very vanilla-y, and I actually feel like it can really complement those cocoa chocolate vibes and the raspberry to it. So that's why we decided it, instead of do like vanilla from I don't know from Madagascar and stuff like that. Even like we already know that the cocoa nibs aren't from Quebec, obviously,
Right. Right.
but we decided to at least incorporate raspberries from Quebec and then skip the vanilla and go with the white sweet clover instead.
Okay. White
Yeah.
sweet clover. So is that like another foraged thing?
Yeah, it's a flower. So actually, we get an essence form from a company in near Mont Tremblant. So they actually harvest it with fucking tweezers, and then
Jeez.
they infuse it in a neutral grain alcohol, and then we use it, we dose it like that in our beers.
That's amazing. That's so
Yeah.
serious. Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Cheers.
man.
Ooh. Wow, those raspberries are huge, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun dessert. I really
Yeah.
like this.
Wow.
As I said, I like sweet stout, but it's like a type of beer that you share a bottle with other people because the sugar is too strong. But in this one, like the raspberry really bring like balance with the acidity, and
Yeah.
I think I can drink the whole bottle. It would be maybe hard the next
In
day,
five
but
minutes?
in
In
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah,
Easily.
I can.
We won't vomit at all. Look, this is I feel like it's got like a body. It's not like over like a. Would you call it a pastry stout or not really? Because I feel like it's not that thick, which is like kind of
It's hard to categorize it. We just call it a sweet stout.
sweet stout.
I
Yeah.
don't know what that means. But I know like pastry stout needs excessive
Like cake type of stuff.
sweetness.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? And excessive everything. Uh, it's like an imperial stout that's on the sweet side for imperial, like because imperial stouts, like Russian imperial stout stuff like that, they can be hard on the roasty, hard on the bitterness, and that's not what we're going for. We
Yeah.
wanted like a big dessert, but that had raspberry cut through the sweetness.
Yeah.
What do you call it? I don't know what to call it. We
I
called it a sweet stout.
Yeah, I think that's fair because I guess a pastry would need some sort of actual dessert type of shit in there. But this isn't like even when you're pouring it, you can see through it a bit. So whilst this you can't see through, when you're pouring it, you can. And usually with a pastry stout, it's like syrup. So this is
Yeah.
not syrupy, but it's a ton of body, and it works really well. Because if this was any more thick, it'd be probably a little too much. So it's like a
Mhm.
nice sort of balance between the body of it and then having that sort of volume of raspberries.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like at the
For sure.
very top. Well, in this glass, it's
Yeah.
kind of small.
No, definitely for sure.
Only at the very top of your glass, I can see through. This, I can't see through anything whatsoever.
No, it definitely isn't. It's not like an oil change for sure, right?
No, not at all. Look, which they have their place. Those stouts, I do enjoy them, but they have like, I think even like that type of stout, to be honest, this would be too much for me. But this, whatever you've done, this is. I'm like if I wasn't drinking anything else, I could drink this whole bottle by myself. Worst case, you chuck a stopper in it, drink it tomorrow, bam, bam, everybody wins. Yeah, this is really good. So
we're going after the. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go on.
We're going about the Black Forest cake, and then we're kind of arguing a bit about is Black Forest cake cherries or raspberries?
I thought it was cherries.
Turns out
it's cherries.
It is
turns out
cherry, actually.
Yeah.
But no, turns out it's both actually.
It's both. It's both. But
Yeah, it is both.
most of the time, it is cherry.
Yeah. So next week, whatever we are right now, 29th. Next week, I'm brewing we're brewing a version with cherries instead.
Ah, okay.
Like wild cherries from Quebec. Like it's not sweet cherry. It's
I'm
like
not from Quebec. It's from Southern Ontario.
Is it the
Okay, sorry.
The most local we could get is is sour cherries from Southern Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is like sour cherries. It's really it's gonna be on the side of the raspberry, but a bit different. I'll think like it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward for that. I really love like sour cherries in beers. I think it's the most interesting fruit. One of the most interesting fruit in the beers. Like
Yeah.
in Belgium, they use a lot of that.
Mm. It's a good point. Is it like
Yeah.
the Montmorency cherries? Is that the one that maybe
Nah, man. So that's exactly what we're trying to get right now. Like
Okay.
we're working hard on suppliers because sour cherries is a bunch of varieties, but the Montmorency variety has like a cinnamon snap to it, which is actually very nice. And I actually got that contact through Sean at Small Pony. I know you had him on your podcast
Yes, a
not too
couple
long ago.
times. Yeah, Sean's a G.
Trying to buy cherries from his contact, which is in Southern Ontario, which is I couldn't really find any in Quebec that have like um how can I say it like
Like
commercial loads of
okay.
like enough volume for us. And we're not asking for a lot of volume, but still like it's often like you pick and then they freeze in 1 kilo bags and it's prohibitive. Like, but it makes sense if you buy it for you. But if I'm gonna put in a brew, I don't want to sell my beer $27 because of that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
no, it's
but yeah, so we found this guy in it's in Chatham in southeastern Ontario.
okay.
Yeah, near Windsor, I guess. And
Yeah,
so
near
yeah, that's
Windsor.
where we're getting our sour cherries from, and it's the Montmorency varietal, and I like that because it really has a really nice cinnamon snap to it, and I feel like it'll play nice in that sour cherry version of our Black
In this
Forest
one.
cake beer.
Would you
Yeah.
put would you add vanilla or anything to that version, or would you keep it the same, just exactly the same base, just swap out the fruits?
I honestly think, man, I'd keep that white sweet clover aspect to it. I bump it up with lactose, though, I think.
My man. I
Yeah.
wonder if, and this is like, it's always conjecture, but I wonder if the addition of lactose makes it a pastry stout. You know what I'm saying? Or does it become
Well, it depends how much you add.
yeah, I guess so. Or is it an imperial milk stout? Like, who fucking knows? Like, it's like
Yeah. No, definitely.
I feel like the pastry thing is way almost compared to any other style of beer. It's the most vaguest definition because like maybe some people would consider this because it's a stout with adjuncts because it's got the cacao, it's got the clovers, and it's got the raspberries. Is this a pastry? I don't really think so. But if you add lactose with the cherries instead, does it? I still don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. And you know what? The
cares?
worst part is it's on the eyes of the untapper. We'll be like, not to me. One.
Not pastry. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
Which is a bit annoying, but gotta
Yeah.
live with that for sure. But I don't know, man. We feel like they're just like dessert stouts. Call them pastry or not. I don't know. We make them to our liking, right? Because like pastry stouts is like you make the beer, you make the base beer that you trust, and then you add adjuncts to it. Like you don't want to add coconut and then you're done, right? Like we add coconut until we're happy with it. And then we add raspberries until we're happy with it. Or like we add like adjuncts to those until we're happy with them. And then it's kind of our own fault if they're not balanced, right? To a certain point. And then that's when we were happy with with that beer. And then we'll the raspberry, we're gonna if we're not happy with whatever, we'll just dose it until we're happy with it. That's the thing about pastry stouts is that you make a beer and then you recirculate the beer on a massive amount of adjuncts and then package it. Like it's up to you to gauge those adjuncts. And if you're not happy with it, just add more, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's kind of what I like about that one is I feel like we kind of hit something that's pretty good.
yeah. No, this is like I feel like it's unique, and I think that's really what it comes down to. Like as far as it's not a pastry. It's not just a regular imperial stout. It's a sweet dessert stout. It's like something that
Mhm.
probably is this middle ground that maybe doesn't
Yeah.
happen enough, or at least get talked about enough. Do you guys have plans for or any sort of barrel program currently?
We do.
Currently,
Yeah. Currently, like right now, like the sergent poivre, the sergent poivre that you taste, like the first beer we tasted today. We are aging it in a Sauvignon Blanc barrel,
Ooh,
like in a wine barrel.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be nice because we want it to like Sauvignon Blanc because it would be more like a little bit acidic and dry. Then like a Chardonnay would be like a bit like buttered and like a bit more like a round on the edge. I don't know how to say that in English, but
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
you nailed it, bro. Nailed it.
and so that's like we don't have like a lot of possibility right now, but that's what we are doing. And when we're gonna open the brewery, we really want to have like a lot of different type of barrel to do like barrel aging and stuff like that. And I I think that's one thing that's really interesting about us. It's like it's just the beginning because when we're gonna like buy barrels, we're gonna be able to do some more like experimentation and to bring like new stuff to the brewery scene. Like we want to work with like forest ingredient and like to work with euh, c'est quoi comment tu dirais ça, G? C'est quelqu'un qui travaille avec les herbes et tout ça, une herboriste.
Botaniste,
Like
botanist.
Botanist, like a
Like someone who's like cultivating herbs and
yeah,
stuff like that.
like we would like to do like
Or who
collaboration
has
with
a lot
like
of expertise in it, right? That can actually help us guide us through it. Obviously, through test batching and stuff like that. For sure.
to say,
But
hey, these match together. You should pair this with this.
well, I know most of them like they grow for like medicinal reasons and stuff like that. But we're just fetching after flavor and aroma, which is basically what we're fetching after. Right? Like definitely have a plan about making. Oh my god, I don't know those in French, in English. Sorry, it's called it's called la verveine citronnelle.
boy. Aye,
Oh, I don't know if you've had Craig. I don't know if you've heard of pineapple weed.
Pineapple weed.
Yeah.
No, talk to me.
It's a wild version of a chamomile, and when you rub it, it's actually very pineapple forward.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and it grows
definitely
almost
and
everywhere.
honestly, it grows in like your ditch in your parking lot. It's like it's actually very easy to find. So we're looking at making beers with that and stuff. But I mean, we need our own space for that, right? And like Sébastien mentioned, we're definitely gonna get a folder, so we can actually get our base house yeast if you want, or wild yeast,
Yeah.
and then propagate it to our barrels and then blend and stuff like that, right? We have a very good contact, well, thanks to through Ben again from Nickelbrook. It's an awesome orchard in the Niagara region because I know we can't get peaches, nectarines, apricots, and stuff like that in Quebec. So the closest we could get was that. And then what they do is that they even like when they get blisters from hails and stuff like that, that orchard specifically, they still harvest them, and then they just instead of sending it to the dump, they just sell them for very cheap. So we just collect them from them. And then we come back to Gatineau and we just take off the blisters and stuff like that, and then we age our beers on that.
That's amazing.
We've already done we've already done a peach, a yellow plum, and nectarine sour with those. So for sure. So that's coming for sure. But I mean, more in a barrel aging program type of way, because those were quick sours and they came out fun. but we like to take it to the next step. We definitely want to make everything. Yeah, definitely.
From there.
We got a bunch of fun contacts and fun projects coming around.
That makes me very happy to hear. I love that a lot. Montreal Beer Page, shouts to you, bro. He was saying Gross Big on Bourbon was my first from À La Dérive. And man, was it a bottle to start with, and fire emojis.
There you go.
You've already done a bourbon version of this, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We've done it.
We bought barrels from Canada, actually.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. They were like aging that like
maple syrup.
Maple syrup, like they aged maple syrup in a bourbon barrel, and after that we use that barrel to age our Swiss stout.
And it was the same version with the raspberries and everything?
No, it was
The
the
original,
first
the
anniversary
base.
version. Yeah. No, the base was like the first anniversary version was coconut, white sweet clover, and coconuts. Yeah.
Okay, so it's coconut instead of the raspberries, and then chuck that in the bourbon.
Exactly.
Coconut
Exactly.
Bourbon barrel? Fuck, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah. I love that you'd be able to do that, like even given the situation, you know, that you're in now, where it's kind of between two things, and it's cool that you're able to still knock out some barrel aged stuff. That's great. And the
You have to, man. You have to stay stimulated somehow.
Yeah, man. It's you know, you guys have sort of had an interesting run in the way that you've had to sort of start and then, you know, continue throughout 2020 and then coming into this year. I mean, like, is there anything that you guys are planning for this year that you can say that's like maybe coming up?
Yeah,
I was best.
yeah. I actually like like in a year or so we're gonna have our own brewery, so we're gonna have like a lot of more opportunity to brew really wild stuff, because right now we're doing test batch on like 10 barrels or like 15 barrels tank. You know, it's a really big guess.
It's a lot, yeah.
Like in like in a year we're gonna do like a lot of research, because that's our field. And right now, like, we're doing like New England IPAs and really popular style beer that we like to brew, but in a way we would like to go where nobody expected us, like how you say that, like foreignage. Là, c'est quoi? C'est genre les gens qui font de la cueillette et tout ça.
Forage.
The forage.
Forage, like to go in the forest and like to pick up some bark in a tree and stuff like that, and do really wild beer like that people in Quebec they didn't see. Like there's a couple of brewery in the States that are doing that right now, like buying fields and growing like their own fruits and stuff like that. We're really looking forward for that, and I think in maybe a couple of years we're gonna go there, and that's our goal, actually. Yeah.
I love that. I know, like, Champlain in Mercier did sort of a little bit of that type of stuff. Like, they've got little herbs and other weird shit in their thing, and they've been like doing that. But I haven't heard of too many breweries doing that. So I think that's a really cool thing to get into, because, like, you know, what's more, and this is literally, you put the food, the ingredients in the land, you planted them, you harvested these things, then you put them in your beer that you made. Like, it's a beautiful kind of full circle thing where most of the ingredients come from you guys directly. I mean, I can understand that being like the ultimate goal for sure. Like having a fucking field of barley, and you can, you know, harvest that, then malt it, and then grow the hops, and then grow the adjunct. I mean, that would be an ultimate situation where it's just farm to table type of stuff. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. That's our goal. In a way, I think it's gonna be like we have a couple of years to go to be to that point, but it's a goal. You know, you have always to fix your goals to be in a position, and for us, it's like it's like a possibility that And like I think the thing I really like about customers in Quebec is they are really interesting in different type of beer. Like they are not stuck in on like a New England IPA or like seasoned beer and stuff like that. They want to have like new things. They want to be amazed by like a new experience. That's really nice because like in old countries like Germany and Belgium, they are still brewing the same type of beer they were brewing like 100 years ago, and that's what we're really fortunate in Quebec. Like I think like people are looking forward to have new experience, and that's where we want to go. Like that give us the opportunity to to brew the type of beer we wanted. And I think that is really nice. That's a scene that we want to go in. I think so. Yeah.
No, it's you're right, man. Like the palate of the Quebecois beer drinkers is quite complex. They kind of want a bit of everything, and I feel like it was quite traditional for quite some time, and now it's just grown into sort of like, give me this great beer, and people are
Exactly. Yeah, you're 100% right.
yeah,
For
you
sure.
feel that, right? I felt like I felt
Oh
that
yeah,
change.
definitely. Yeah.
And even like the amount of people I knew who were going to Burlington, Vermont like every weekend. I'm not exaggerating. I know some people who did that because they couldn't get what they wanted at home. And I
Yeah.
don't, pandemic aside, I don't think those same people would need to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think it like it, and I think it like I was hearing you like and like you were talking about I think there's really interesting interesting beer in Vermont, um, but I also think that like in Gaspésie in Quebec, like for like even from like 5 or 10 years or so from now, they were brewing like amazing beer like in a place that nobody like really understand what was happening right there.
That's
Like
true.
there's a guy there's a guy in Gaspésie that he
I'll be right
was
back.
No worries.
yeah, he was brewing like beer with like his own yeast, wild yeast that he grew in himself, like back in the days, and he opened a new law in Quebec to for the all
The cool
the
ship,
brewery.
right?
See what?
Was this for the cool ship? Was this Francis?
Yeah, Francis. He's
Francis Jonker.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
I know him.
I think this guy has been brewing for like a while, and like you've been saying that in Vermont there were like a lot of really nice and interesting beer, and I think like in Quebec, like not all of the brewery, but some of them, like even back in the days, were like something else, you know. Like this one was in particular really interesting, and
Yeah.
he's starting a new brewery right now. Like it's
Brett Sauvage.
well, yeah, Brett
Yeah.
is and yeah, Brett is Savage.
I drove
I
past it. It's crazy. I didn't go in there because he wasn't around. He was out of town, and the other guy who worked for him wasn't able. But I drove past it, and it looks
okay,
beautiful. Yeah, but we
yeah,
went
the
to.
place.
He was the
Yeah,
guy who used to own Pit Caribou, and he sold Pit Caribou, and then started this one.
yeah,
And they have two locations in Gaspé. So we went to, well, it's not in Gaspé. It's in Percé. They had the because when we went to Quebec City, we went to Gaspé because there was like 200 COVID cases in the whole city during like August. So we were like, all right, well, where can we go that's safe to have a break? So we went out east. We were always scared to go because we couldn't speak enough French, but everyone was so nice, and it was really cool to see. Because like, have you guys been out there? You've been up to Percé and
yes,
Gaspé? Yeah,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've been to Sébastien and
yes,
Gaspésie for sure, but not when Pit Caribou and Brett Sauvage and
Well, yeah.
Oval were around. Yeah,
It was. We went to Oval, and we were the only people there in the store, and they had two different beers, so I just got two of each and stuff, and it was very unassuming. It was very chill.
yeah,
That was like a 10-minute drive from the There's a Pit Caribou pub right downtown in per se, right near the Rock. Then if you go down, this was the better one. There was a second pub right on the water. Literally, you're sitting on a beach on this little table, and you can get. They don't have food or anything, but we were hungry, so we just got some like snacks, and you can just have a beer, and we watched the sunset over the ocean. Like, it was just beautiful. It was so nice. It was so cool. But that's what Francis, yeah, he started Brett and Sauvage out there. So they have a nice little scene of very few breweries, but those it's really doing some interesting stuff. And you're right, he changed the law for the cool ships.
Yeah,
which has been,
exactly.
You know, Quebec was super behind with cool ships and even growlers. I think at the same time, those two laws changed for us to breweries to be able to serve those too. And yeah, and it's been really cool to see that change, because I think that's where Quebec shines, like the cool ship stuff, like the funky wild shit. I don't think anywhere in Canada does it like Quebec does it at all.
Yeah, I think in the next few years it's gonna be a big thing.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna, like, in Ontario, like what I'm really impressed of in Ontario right now, it's like all the beer that are mixed with like grapes or apples, like ciders with beers, or like grapes with beers. Like Ontario does a really good jobs on that right now, and I'm really looking forward to see what Quebec will do with that, because we don't have the same climate, and we can grow like different types of fruits, but it's different ways of like interpreting things and research and stuff. So I'm really looking forward for that, and I think that's the field that me and Jean-François are looking forward to go in, like, in the next few years.
I love that, man. I think it's really cool that you guys like, it's not very often you see a brewery who does something like, you know, like this stuff so well, like the haze, and then is still just as equally excited about a cool ship or some, like, you know, foraged ingredients or whatever. It's cool. You guys are super eclectic, much more than I realized, to be honest, which is why I was looking forward to talking to you, because I didn't know enough. I'd heard a lot about you both from friends, mutual friends, and I tried a bunch of your beers that were all the hoppy beers. This is not what I expected, and in the best possible way. Like, I'm extremely impressed and surprised to be like, fuck, man, this saison is crazy, and I didn't even like saisons that much, and this was crazy. This stout is phenomenal. This bottle is absolutely being finished tonight, and it won't be a problem because it's not too much. I don't feel like I'm like, oh, and I can only have a few more sips and it's too much. Like, you know, and the haze, I'm like staring at this bad boy. It's exciting. So I just really think what you guys are doing is very, very cool. It's interesting for the area because it's still unique for the area. Like, we were talking about all the great stuff. Cool, everybody there does great haze. Great. But this is unique. The saison is unique. Like, it's very cool, and the fact that you guys have got interest in these type of things, that it's almost like the farm breweries in like Eastern Quebec are doing. No one really in your region is doing, and close to Montreal are doing. So, you know, I think that's great, guys. I think it's just really dope, and you really got something cool going on, man. And you guys have weathered a pretty rough run, I guess. You know, from 2020 it was pretty tough.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah, it's just been weird, but like we don't know any better, right? Because we just
So
opened up, and then it's all been a clusterfuck ever since day one. Well, fucking day 3, let's say, whatever. But yeah, thanks for the good words, man. That's very appreciated for sure.
No, genuine.
But we are. I don't know where to go with that. I think that Imperial Stout's getting to me now.
Yeah, I think it's good. I saw you because you necked that. You hit that dynamite one really hard. You smashed that.
Yeah,
I'm
very thirsty.
No, I respect it. I know I want to be a little conscious of time and stuff. So, I mean, like, this has been fantastic. I feel like we've got I'm glad we actually did, in hindsight. I kind of wanted to keep some of these for other content, but at the same token now, I'm actually happier that we opened them together here, because this story and hearing more about the beers was quite valuable for, you know, really telling the story about what you guys are doing and what, you know, what you're into and where you're trying to go. So this was really, really cool. Is there anything else we could tell people to look forward to this year, or is we got to, do we have to keep that a little?
I would honestly say keep in touch and follow us because, like, I know as much as you do when I'll be able to go out after 8 p.m. Right? So, like, I know as much. Like, you don't know more than I do what I'll be able to do with my business in the next. Like, we're working really hard on expanding and doing stuff and being
Yeah.
independent if you want. Even though we're really lucky to be at Get Juice, like, but I mean, in the meantime, it's just whatever. It's like we're working and then working in the dark at the same time. It's a bit weird, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
it's,
follow
And
us for sure because we do keep people updated for sure, for sure.
and I'll say with that, like À La Dérive is all about like come to us, come visit us, come like taste our beer, talk to us. Like if you have ideas, if you want to taste something different in beers, talk to us and maybe we'll do it. Like we're open to challenges and like we're really looking forward for like bringing people like for a community and have a cultural ways to express ourselves. um yeah, come to our place. I think like it's really different like a brewery than a pub, and we'll still like even if we're gonna open a brewery, we'll still be a pub, you know. Like when you go in a pub on the spot, you can taste a lot of different beers that you will never taste in cans or in bottle. Like because in a pub you're trying things, and you have to go there. You have to see the people that are behind the products. I think it's the thing. Like next summer we're gonna hit hard, and you better be there.
don't you worry
Honestly,
about
Craig,
it.
you better be there for sure.
Say the word, boys. I'm there.
Yeah.
No, I'm really excited to come back up and actually go to a fucking brewery again. God damn it! Like it's been too
Yeah.
long, and I genuinely miss it. And this obviously this is not how I wanted to do this with you guys. I would have rather be there, but this at least gets people familiar with what you're doing. It's the closest thing. So as soon as things are back to normal, best believe that we'll be out there, man. I'm genuinely excited. What I do want to do is take the thumbnail for YouTube. So what I usually do, I have to take a screenshot while we're here. Do you want to hold up some of the beers so we can show the people for the screenshot what we're doing? I'm just going to hold these two because that's all my hands can do. Oh, yeah. There we go. There, get the cans.
Nope.
Get the cans. There you go. Y'all ready?
I'm lagging a lot.
You
That
good?
work? No, yeah, not
good.
just my brain, me.
There you go. Oh, no. Back again. That's blocking your face.
Good.
You ready?
Yeah,
I got it.
I feel like I'm playing with the can.
Your face is hidden though. Are you cool with that?
your
That's
face
good.
is a can.
Your
It's
face is a
perfect.
can, and it's the people are gonna have to watch the video to see those pearly whites, mate. Boys, this has been a real lot of fun. I feel like I've learned a
Yeah,
lot
that's
about what you guys are about and what you're doing. Where can everybody find À La Dérive online?
We have a Shopify account, but Sébastien can tell you more about that for sure.
Yeah, for like to buy beers and stuff.
So
Like
buy beers,
it,
yep. And then
yeah,
social media and stuff.
yeah. In social media, like we have a Facebook, Instagram. Like you can follow us on that À La Dérive, or like we have beers in Montreal right now in a couple of places. You can go there, or in Outaouais if you want to come. Like when the pandemic is gonna be out of service, please come to our bar because this is where it's happening. Like we're really like people person, and like we're gonna do like really interesting like festivals in a couple of months, and you should be there for sure.
Yeah, I love it. It's a beautiful thing. Guys, stay on the line after this. I'm just going to wrap this up, and then we'll say our proper goodbye. So, guys, thank you both again for your time. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. It's very, very glad to connect, and I'm looking forward to hanging out actually in person, having a few beers and stuff. It's going to be fun. Everybody, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast and check out the long form audio so you can hear attractive motherfuckers like Sébastien and JF talk about craft beer in Quebec. That is it, guys. We'll see you next week. Get it in ya. Boom. All right.
Get it in you.
Get it in ya. You know. Live people, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow night, funnily enough. This is the only double week we're doing. We're typically trying to keep it to one a week. So we'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Otherwise, we'll be back next Friday. Guys, stay on the line, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.